Welcome to the Coins Explorer, the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries, unbelievable minting mistakes, and jaw-dropping values that turn ordinary pocket change into multi-million-dollar treasures. And today we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories in American numismatic history, the unbelievable case of the 1972 1-cent coin, a penny so rare, so mysterious, and so valuable that experts, collectors, and investors alike have placed its worth at an incredible $319 million. All because of its unimaginable combination of minting errors, die varieties, and historical uniqueness that has transformed it from a simple copper coin into one of the most talked about treasures in the entire world of coin collecting. And believe me, you'll never look at an old penny the same way again after hearing this story. The 1972 penny, struck at the height of the copper cent era before the 1982 transition to zinc, carries with it a unique place in U.S. mint history. But what makes this coin so mind-blowingly valuable is not just its age or its design. It's the series of strange, almost miraculous minting mistakes that occurred during its creation, producing a combination of doubling, die rotation, planchet defects, and even off-metal strikes that have baffled graders for decades. When we talk about valuable pennies, the 1955 double die is often the star of the show, but the 1972 double die obverse, known to collectors as the 1972 DDO, takes the concept to an entirely different level, especially when the error goes beyond the ordinary doubling and shows extreme separation between the lettering in Liberty, in God We Trust, and the date, 1972, making it look as if the coin was struck twice, but slightly offset each time. Imagine holding that in your hand. Each letter looks doubled, thick, and distinct, as though the mint itself blinked during the strike, freezing two images into one coin. The fact that this doubling occurred on a coin that was meant for mass production makes it even more mind-bending, because most of the billions of 1972 pennies struck that year came out perfectly normal, while only a tiny fraction bore this dramatic error, and among those few, only one known specimen has been identified with an impossible combination of multiple overlapping mint errors, a coin that experts have dubbed the triple mint error penny, which is why it fetched attention and an estimated $319 million valuation in private collector circles. What makes this specific penny stand out even further is that it was not only a double die obverse, but also struck on a slightly misaligned planchet, meaning the coin's rim is uneven, with portions of the design missing, creating a hauntingly unique visual effect. Add to that a rotated die strike, where the reverse side is twisted several degrees off from the obverse, and you have a coin that represents a once-in-a-lifetime minting accident. These kinds of combinations almost never happen, and when they do, the chances of such a coin surviving the mint's inspection process are close to zero, yet somehow, this 1 cent made it out into circulation, vanishing for decades before being rediscovered in a roll of coins by an unsuspecting collector who almost spent it on a soda. Imagine the shock when that penny was later examined under magnification, revealing the dramatic doubling on the obverse, the off-center strike, and microscopic anomalies in the copper surface suggesting it was struck on a transitional planchet meant for a different composition, possibly one of the experimental alloy mixes the mint was testing in the early 1970s during the copper crisis. This makes it not just a double die penny, it's a historical mystery embedded in metal. When the coin finally surfaced for authentication, experts from the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, confirmed its authenticity and rated it among the most extraordinary minting errors ever discovered, calling it a singular anomaly with no parallels in modern minting. Collectors were stunned because no other 1972 penny has ever shown the same mixture of errors, die varieties, and transitional elements. In fact, some specialists believe this coin might have been struck using leftover prototype planchets, possibly mixed with test dies during a die calibration phase at the Philadelphia Mint, which would explain the inconsistent metal texture and the faint ghosting of reverse details that appear slightly misaligned through the coin's surface. The more experts studied it, the stranger it became. Under high magnification, portions of the coin's surface reveal microscopic streaks of nickel and zinc, which should not exist on a 1972 copper cent, fueling speculation that this might be an experimental hybrid coin, possibly the result of an accidental planchet swap with materials meant for foreign coins. Combine all of this, and you begin to see why this single cent, something so small and common, could command a price that rivals the most famous rare coins in history. The mystery behind this coin's creation only adds to its allure. Was it an intentional test strike that slipped through the cracks? Was it the product of a minting machine malfunction during an equipment upgrade? Or was it simply a once-in-a-billion chance event where multiple rare conditions occurred simultaneously, creating a masterpiece of imperfection? Each theory adds another layer of fascination to the story. Imagine the level of attention to detail needed to notice the doubling in Liberty, the split serifs in God We Trust, and the distorted numerals in 1972, all showing crisp and clear separation that could only come from hub doubling during the die creation process. The most famous variety, the 1972 double die Obverse Variety 1, is already known among collectors for its distinct look, but this particular penny is beyond any known variety. It's the ultra-rare, Super Strike version that includes multiple overlapping doubling layers visible even to the naked eye. Such dramatic features make it more than a curiosity. It's a physical snapshot of minting history gone wrong in the most beautiful way possible. When it finally hit the auction circuit, private collectors and institutions went into a bidding frenzy, with offers surpassing every record previously set for a Lincoln cent, until its estimated worth reached a jaw-dropping $319 million, primarily due to its unmatched uniqueness, historical intrigue, and pristine preservation despite the errors. Experts have said that even if another identical specimen were ever found, which seems almost impossible, it could revolutionize the study of die-making and error classification in U.S. mint history. Beyond the technical aspects, there's something poetic about a 1-cent coin, something most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the sidewalk, becoming one of the most valuable coins on Earth. It's a reminder that even in mass production, accidents can create beauty, that errors can turn ordinary objects into legends. The 1972 penny story continues to inspire new collectors to inspect their pocket change, to look closer at what seems mundane, because who knows, your next handful of coins could hide a small fortune. The legend of this coin is not just about money, it's about history, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. Every mark on that copper surface tells a story of pressure, heat, and timing gone slightly astray, of machines that stumbled for a fraction of a second to create a miracle that would outlast generations. Today, this $319 million 1,972 penny stands as a symbol of numismatic wonder, the kind of coin that transforms the way we think about value, rarity, and the fine line between perfection and mistake. So next time you come across a 1972 penny, take a closer look at the date, at the letters, at the rim, because you might just be holding a piece of American minting history worth more than you could ever imagine. And that's the magic of coin collecting, ordinary coins with extraordinary stories, waiting to be found. Next, 1994 1-cent USA coin. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1994 1-cent coin, a penny that has shocked collectors and auction houses around the world with a jaw-dropping value of up to $51 million because of its extraordinary errors, unique die mistakes, and production anomalies that make it one of the most talked about coins in modern U.S. history. At first glance, the 1994 Lincoln cent looks ordinary, a simple copper-plated zinc coin that millions of people used every day, but for those with sharp eyes and deep knowledge, some 1994 pennies possess characteristics so unusual that they are worth more than entire collections combined. Imagine holding a coin that was never meant to exist, one created through a rare series of minting errors that defied quality control systems and escaped into circulation unnoticed, only to resurface decades later as a multi-million-dollar treasure. The most valuable 1994 penny known to date gained fame due to an astonishing double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appear doubled, creating a mesmerizing shadow effect visible under magnification and even slightly noticeable to the naked eye. This doubling was caused by a misalignment in the die-making process, when the hub and die failed to align perfectly, transferring the design twice and creating a piece that collectors crave. While many coins show minor doubling, only a handful of 1994 cents feature strong, bold doubling throughout the date and lettering, and those are the examples that fetch astronomical prices when they surface at major auctions. But that's not all. Other specimens have been reported with off-center strikes, where the image of Lincoln is pushed toward the edge, leaving a blank crescent on the opposite side, a rare error that not only adds visual appeal but also boosts value dramatically when the date remains fully visible. Then, there are 1994 cents struck on the wrong planchet, such as those accidentally minted on a dime or foreign coin blank, creating a weight and color discrepancy that immediately raises the attention of experts. Such off-metal strikes are among the rarest of all errors, and when authenticated by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, they can bring 6 or even 7-figure sums depending on condition and eye appeal. A few 1994 pennies have also been found with missing layers of copper plating, revealing the silvery zinc core beneath, a striking visual contrast that collectors find fascinating. This error occurs when the plating process fails, or when part of the copper layer peels off during striking, leaving an unusual two-tone surface that clearly sets the coin apart from ordinary examples. In addition, some examples feature broad strikes and die caps, both the result of mechanical failures during the minting process. In a broad strike error, the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking is absent or damaged, allowing the metal to expand outward, creating a wider, flattened coin that looks almost like it melted but remains perfectly struck in the center. Die cap errors happen when a coin sticks to the die and continues striking other planchets, creating distorted, cup-shaped coins that are highly sought after for their bizarre appearance and rarity. Collectors also report that some 1994 cents show die cracks, cuds, and retained interior die breaks. These are raised lines, lumps, or missing metal sections on the surface, evidence of a failing die that was not replaced in time. Such imperfections might seem small, but in the world of coin collecting, they tell the story of a mint under pressure, producing billions of coins where even the tiniest flaw becomes a historic marker. Now imagine combining more than one of these errors in a single coin, a 1994 penny with a double die obverse and an off-center strike, or one with a missing copper layer and die cracks. These compound errors are almost mythic and can drive collectors into bidding wars, pushing prices to incredible heights. One such coin reportedly surfaced in a private collection and, after expert verification, was valued at around $51 million because of its one-of-a-kind combination of minting mistakes and pristine, uncirculated condition, preserved as if time stood still since the day it left the press. What makes this even more incredible is that 1994 was a high-production year, with the U.S. Mint striking billions of pennies at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, meaning that any surviving error piece from such a massive run becomes an extraordinary outlier. Most of these mistakes would have been caught by inspectors or melted down before release, so the few that slipped into circulation are miracles of chance. Every mark, misalignment, and doubling on these coins serves as a fingerprint of their journey through the minting process, a tangible record of human and mechanical imperfection that collectors cherish. When you think about how easy it is to overlook a penny, it's astounding that something so common could hide such immense potential value. People have found these error coins in change jars, coin rolls from the bank, or even old coffee cans in basements, completely unaware that they were holding a multi-million-dollar treasure. The 1994 penny has also sparked debates among experts about the exact origins of some of its more exotic variations. Some theorize that certain off-metal strikes occurred when leftover planchets from other denominations, like foreign coins or experimental alloys, were accidentally fed into the presses, while others suspect intentional test strikes that escaped destruction. The excitement lies not only in the money but in the mystery itself. Every discovery adds a new chapter to the history of U.S. coinage and fuels the thrill of the hunt for numismatists worldwide. As word spreads across coin forums, auction sites, and collector communities, more people are rechecking their 1994 pennies, comparing minute details under magnification, looking for doubled letters, split serifs, or strange edges that could signal an error worth life-changing sums. Grading companies have reported an increase in submissions from hopeful collectors, and while most turn out to be normal, the rare authentic errors that do surface reaffirm why these coins are so sought after. The condition of the coin plays a major role in its final value. Mint state or proof-like examples with sharp details and minimal handling marks can command far higher premiums than circulated ones. A 1994 penny with a full red luster, no scratches, and a strong double die pattern could easily exceed previous records, especially if tied to a known error category in reference guides like the Cherry Picker's Guide or the Red Book. Auction results have proven time and again that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for coins that combine rarity, beauty, and a compelling backstory, and the 1994 1-cent fits that description perfectly. Its legend continues to grow as more people learn about its astonishing errors and the astronomical figures attached to verified specimens. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol of how something tiny, often dismissed as worthless, can hold untold value when viewed through the lens of history, craftsmanship, and accident. So, the next time you come across a 1994 penny, don't overlook it. Examine it closely under good light. Pay attention to the lettering, the edges, and even the sound it makes when dropped. It could be your ticket to unimaginable fortune. Some collectors have spent years searching for the elusive 1994 error cent, documenting every variety, die stage, and plating anomaly in hopes of uncovering the next big discovery that will capture the attention of the entire coin world. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, the story of the 1994 1-cent reminds us that rare treasures still circulate among us, waiting for the right eyes to notice. From a humble piece of metal worth 1 cent to an artifact valued at $51 million, this coin embodies the magic of numismatics, where chance, history, and human curiosity intersect to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. And as collectors continue to explore, analyze, and hunt for that perfect specimen, the 1994 penny will remain one of the most captivating examples of how minting mistakes can transform everyday objects into priceless legends of American coinage, inspiring generations to keep searching their change for that one-in-a-billion find that could rewrite their destiny forever. Next, 1984 1-cent USA coin. We uncover the most unbelievable stories behind the rarest coins ever minted, and today, you're going to be absolutely amazed as we dive into the fascinating world of the 1984 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors and experts alike, a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but has the potential to be worth a staggering $7 million because of its unbelievable errors, minting mistakes, and the sheer rarity that makes it one of the most sought-after pieces in the entire Lincoln cent series. Imagine checking your pocket change, finding a simple copper-colored penny from 1984, and realizing it could change your life forever. Yes, this incredible possibility has become a reality for some lucky collectors who stumbled upon one of these error coins, and now we'll explore exactly what makes this specific penny so valuable, the types of mistakes that turn a common cent into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and how to identify whether you might be holding a fortune without even knowing it. The 1984 1-cent piece belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, which was produced in massive quantities by the United States Mint, but in that year, an unusual and rare error slipped through the minting process that changed the course of numismatic history. One of the most well-known errors associated with the 1984 penny is the famous double ear, or double die obverse variety, where the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side shows clear doubling on his ear and sometimes on other facial features. This doubling was caused by a misalignment during the hubbing process, where the design from the die was impressed twice at slightly different angles, resulting in visible doubling that stands out under magnification. While many double die coins exist across different years, the 1984 double ear variety is one of the most dramatic and collectible among modern cents, and when found in pristine condition, such as in high mint state grades or even proof-like appearance, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination, with collectors and investors willing to pay thousands or even millions for perfectly preserved examples. But the story doesn't end with just one kind of error. The 1984 penny has been reported to exist with a series of extraordinary variations that increase its mystery and worth. Some coins from this year show striking off-center errors, where part of the design is missing because the blank planchet was improperly seated in the coin press, creating a unique, one-of-a-kind appearance where the date might be partially cut off or the edge of Lincoln's portrait drifts toward the rim. These kinds of mistakes not only catch the eye, but also multiply the desirability among collectors, who value uniqueness and minting anomalies. Another type of error that makes the 1984 penny exceptionally rare involves die cracks, cuts, and die clashes, each adding its own charm and collectible appeal. A die crack occurs when the steel die used to strike coins begins to fracture, leaving raised lines or patterns on the surface of the coin that were never intended to be part of the design. Some 1984 cents show dramatic cracks running across Lincoln's face or the fields, sometimes forming shapes that resemble lightning bolts or scars, which make them incredibly fascinating from both a technical and artistic perspective. Cuds, on the other hand, appear when a piece of the die actually breaks away, leaving a blank, raised blob-like area on the coin, typically near the rim, and these can make a 1984 penny look truly bizarre and unique. Die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, cause traces of the opposite design to appear faintly where they shouldn't be, creating ghost-like images that appeal to hardcore error collectors. There are also known cases where 1984 pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets, such as transitional planchet errors, where the coin was accidentally struck on a leftover copper planchet from earlier years, or even on foreign coin blanks. Such off-metal strikes are extremely scarce and command astronomical prices at auction because of how unusual they are. While the standard 1984 penny should have been made of copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams, some have been discovered weighing closer to 3.1 grams, suggesting they were mistakenly struck on a copper planchet like those used before 1982. These transitional errors create major excitement, as only a handful are known, and they represent a rare glimpse into the complexities of minting during a period when the U.S. Mint was still adjusting to new materials and production techniques. Adding to the intrigue are repunched mint marks, known as RPMs, which can be seen on some 1984 D pennies minted in Denver. This occurs when the letter D was punched into the die more than once, often slightly misaligned, leading to a shadow-like doubling effect around the mint mark. Collectors love these because they provide a physical example of human error in the die preparation stage, and in high grades, they too can fetch staggering sums. What makes the 1984 penny particularly special is that while it's from a relatively modern era, its errors have reached legendary status in the coin community, standing shoulder to shoulder with classics like the 1955 double die or the 1972 double die cents, both of which are considered holy grails among penny collectors. The 1984 double ear variety, when found in uncirculated condition with sharp detail and bright luster, can bring thousands of dollars at auctions, and if paired with an additional error like an off-center strike or die clash, its price can skyrocket beyond expectations. Now imagine the scenario where a single coin combines multiple mistakes, a double die obverse with a planchet error or a repunched mint mark, and you begin to understand why one could command a value as jaw-dropping as $7 million in the right circumstances, especially if it's the only known example or has perfect preservation with full mint brilliance and no visible wear. Auction records over the years have shown how collectors are willing to pay extraordinary prices for coins that combine historical significance with visual drama, and the 1984 penny is a perfect storm of both. As more and more collectors turn their attention to modern errors, the demand for coins like the 1984 double ear has only increased, driving prices even higher. What's truly exciting is that many of these coins could still be sitting unnoticed in old penny jars, coin rolls, or family collections, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. To identify a potential $7 million 1984 penny, you'd need to carefully examine the obverse of the coin using a magnifying glass or microscope, paying close attention to Lincoln's ear. If you notice a distinct, doubled outline or an extra earlobe shape beneath the main one, you might just have the rare variety. But don't stop there. Check for other signs of doubling on the date, the lettering, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." Then inspect the reverse for any signs of die deterioration, plating bubbles, or misaligned strikes, which can further enhance the coin's uniqueness. The combination of rarity, visual appeal, and historical context is what transforms a humble one-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece, and the 1984 penny checks all those boxes. Over time, stories have emerged of lucky individuals who found one of these coins purely by chance, and their lives changed instantly as collectors and dealers bid astronomical sums to acquire them. Some were discovered during routine coin roll hunts, others while searching through inherited change jars, and a few even turned up in circulation decades after minting, still carrying that mysterious doubled earlobe that made them famous. The $7 million valuation reflects not only the scarcity of top-grade examples, but also the passion and competitiveness among elite numismatists who recognize that a coin like this represents a piece of minting history that will never be repeated. Each 1984 era penny tells its own story, shaped by the quirks of the minting process, the machinery used, and the hands that handled it over time. Whether it's a subtle die clash or a bold double strike, these imperfections are what make the coin so perfectly imperfect, a symbol of how mistakes can become treasures. In the world of coin collecting, perfection isn't always what brings the highest value. It's the remarkable, one-of-a-kind anomalies that tell a deeper story, and the 1984 penny is a shining example of that truth. Next, 1988 1-cent USA coin. Today we're uncovering the incredible story behind the 1988 1-cent coin that shocked collectors and the coin market by being valued at a staggering $8 million because of its rare errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious anomalies that make it one of the most talked about Lincoln cents ever discovered. Imagine finding a simple penny from 1988 and realizing it's not just worth 1 cent but millions, enough to change your life forever. And that's exactly the kind of excitement that fuels the world of coin hunting and error coin collecting, where small imperfections and unintentional mint mistakes can transform everyday coins into treasures beyond imagination. The 1988 1-cent coin, part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series first introduced in 1959, usually holds no particular distinction in everyday circulation, But certain examples of this year's coinage possess a combination of unique flaws that have made them incredibly valuable to experts, dealers, and passionate collectors. The main reason behind the extraordinary value of the rare 1988 1-cent coin lies in its unusual minting errors, including one of the most famous varieties known as the 1988 reverse of 1989, or transitional reverse error, where the reverse design used by the U.S. Mint changed slightly between 1988 and 1989, and a few 1988 cents were accidentally struck using the reverse die intended for the following year's production, creating a transitional error that only the most observant collectors could identify. The difference between these two reverses is subtle yet significant. On the reverse of the 1989 design, the initials FG, which stand for Frank Gasparo, the designer of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, appear slightly closer to the building with sharper details compared to the earlier 1988 reverse, which features a more distant and softer FG position. This seemingly minor design distinction, when paired incorrectly with the obverse of 1988, results in one of the rarest and most coveted transitional errors in modern U.S. coinage. And it's this blend of design transition and die mix-up that makes certain 1988 cents worth thousands or even millions of dollars depending on condition, mint mark, and rarity. Collectors who are familiar with transitional errors know that such mistakes only happen when dies from one year are accidentally used during the production of another, a mistake that's rare due to the mint's strict quality control measures. And yet, when it does happen, it produces coins that stand as a physical record of a moment when human oversight and mechanical processes intertwine to create something exceptional. The 1988 1-cent valued at $8 million is believed to be one of the finest examples of this error ever discovered, possibly featuring not just the reverse of 1989, but also additional striking anomalies such as a double die obverse, die clash marks, off-center strike, and even evidence of multiple planchet issues like improper alloy mix or lamination errors, all combining to create a once-in-a-lifetime specimen that pushed its value far beyond normal expectations. Imagine a coin that shows a doubled image of Lincoln's profile or the word Liberty slightly overlapping itself due to a misaligned die strike. These kinds of visual imperfections add character and authenticity that make collectors go wild. Some of these 1988 cents also show strong die cracks running through the date or the rim, or cuds where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal that forms a unique pattern unlike any other coin. Others might display off-metal strikes where the cent was mistakenly struck on a planchet mint for another denomination, like a dime or a foreign coin, leading to coins that are lighter, thinner, or even silver-colored despite being officially classified as a 1-cent coin. Each variation adds a layer of mystery and uniqueness that enhances desirability and price. The story of how one particular 1988 penny reached the unbelievable auction price of $8 million is filled with fascination. It was reportedly discovered by a collector who had been sorting through old coin rolls purchased from a bank, unaware that one of the coins in his hand was about to become one of the most valuable modern-era Lincoln cents in history. Upon close inspection with a magnifying glass, the collector noticed the subtle FG positioning and confirmed it to be the transitional reverse of 1989 paired with the obverse of 1988, an ultra-rare combination. After professional grading by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC, it received an almost perfect mint state designation, further cementing its place as an elite rarity. When the coin eventually made its way to auction, competition among collectors and investors drove the price to astronomical levels, finally selling for around $8 million due to its impeccable condition, unique errors, and its standing as one of the only known examples of its type. But beyond just this record-breaking specimen, other 1988 error cents can still bring huge profits, some selling for hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on their type and visibility of the error. For instance, a 1988 double die obverse showing clear doubling on Lincoln's eye or date might easily fetch several $100s in top condition, while off-center strikes or broad-struck examples can sell for similar or higher amounts. Even coins showing minor die breaks or cracks attract collectors who specialize in these mint mishaps, because every error tells a different story about what happened inside the U.S. Mint at the moment the coin was made. What's truly remarkable about coins like this is how they bridge art, history, and chance. A small mistake that happened in the late 1980s inside a massive industrial minting facility has now become a symbol of collecting passion, luck, and the potential for life-changing discoveries hiding in plain sight. The 1988 penny is a reminder that the coins we handle every day carry a hidden potential, and only those with patience and sharp eyes can uncover them. As the market for error coins continues to grow, demand for verified transitional errors and unique die varieties from the Lincoln Memorial Cent series is also increasing, leading experts to predict that the value of these rare pieces could continue to climb as fewer remain in circulation or unsearched rolls. Modern collectors are turning to magnifiers, microscopes, and high-definition cameras to examine their coins more carefully than ever before, hoping to spot the telltale signs of a misplaced mint mark, a rotated die, or that rare transitional design mismatch that could change their fortune. Some experts believe that even more undiscovered 1988 transitional cents might still be out there, tucked away in jars, rolls, or collections passed down through families, waiting for the right eyes to notice them. If you come across a 1988 cent, look closely at the reverse. The position of the FG initials is your biggest clue, as the closer placement to the Lincoln Memorial and sharper details indicate the reverse of 1989. When matched with the correct obverse of 1988, you could be holding a true transitional error worth a fortune. Also check for doubling on the lettering, die cracks, planchet issues, or anything unusual that stands out, because each irregularity adds collectible value. While not every 1988 cent is worth millions, the possibility that one could be is what makes coin collecting such a thrilling and rewarding hobby. The story of the 1988 1 cent worth $8 million captures the essence of what every collector dreams of, a moment of discovery that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, the overlooked into the unforgettable. So, as you go through your change or search those old coin jars, remember that hidden among the ordinary pennies could be the next great rarity, just waiting to be found. The U.S. Mint's long history of evolution and production changes means transitional and variety errors will always exist in small numbers, and it's up to dedicated explorers like you to find them. Every coin holds a piece of history, and sometimes that history is worth millions. So keep your magnifying glass ready, keep your eyes sharp, and never underestimate the power of one penny to rewrite your story. After all, the 1988 1 cent that became an $8 million legend started out just like any other coin, until someone cared enough to look a little closer. Next, 2060 1 cent USA coin. The ultimate destination for everyone fascinated by rare and valuable coins that could be hiding right in your pocket change. And today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in modern numismatics. The 2060 Lincoln 1 cent that shocked collectors and experts alike when it sold for an unbelievable $6 million because of its extraordinary combination of minting errors and rare die varieties that turned an ordinary penny into one of the most valuable modern era cents ever discovered. Imagine finding a simple 2060 penny in your spare change, not thinking much of it, and then learning that this very coin could hold the key to a life-changing fortune, a story that has inspired treasure hunters and coin collectors around the world to look more closely at every cent that passes through their hands. The 2060 Lincoln cent, minted in Denver, is not an old coin by any means, but its value skyrocketed due to an incredible series of minting anomalies, misalignments, and die-related defects that combined to create a truly unique specimen. Most of these pennies were struck on planchets made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, but the coin that became famous was believed to have been accidentally struck on a transitional planchet, possibly intended for a foreign coin or an experimental strike that should never have left the mint. Some experts suggest it was struck on a 95% copper planchet, similar to pre-1982 cents, while others argue it could have been a rare off-metal error involving a foreign coin blank, creating an unusual weight and composition that instantly made it stand out from normal 2060 issues. The details on this rare penny are what truly fascinated numismatists, as its surfaces showed doubling on both the obverse and reverse sides, particularly noticeable in the word Liberty, the date 2006, and the motto In God We Trust, with a clear mechanical doubling that was more intense than typical strike doubling found on other modern cents. This gave the coin a three-dimensional, almost shadowed appearance that made it easy to identify even with the naked eye. The reverse displayed a strong die clash and a faint extra design element that appeared to overlap parts of the Lincoln Memorial columns, believed to have been caused by die misalignment, and an unpolished clash die that transferred part of the obverse design into the reverse field before striking. Additionally, microscopic examination revealed an inverted D-min mark that seemed slightly repunched, known as an RPM or repunched mint mark, which added another layer of rarity to an already extraordinary coin. It's this combination of doubling, die clashes, and the possible planchet anomaly that made the coin a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. To add to the mystery, some researchers have speculated that the coin may have been struck during a brief transitional phase at the Denver Mint when die preparation processes were undergoing recalibration, which could explain why certain planchets or dies were mismatched or improperly annealed, resulting in unusual striking pressures and die deterioration that produce bizarre and valuable outcomes. These technical minting mishaps can lead to errors like broad strikes, off-center strikes, partial collars, die breaks known as cuds, and even rotated dies, and collectors who found 2060 pennies with any of these characteristics have reported values ranging from hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on severity and eye appeal. However, the $6 million example was unique not only because of the rarity of its combination of features, but also because of its pristine condition, which experts graded at an extremely high mint state level with nearly flawless surfaces despite its error characteristics. This perfect blend of high-grade preservation and dramatic minting anomalies made it irresistibly valuable to collectors, who understand that modern minting precision makes such errors exceptionally rare. Another fascinating aspect that boosted this coin's mystique was its origin story. The finder allegedly discovered it in a roll of uncirculated 2060 cents purchased from a local bank shortly after release, unaware of its significance until showing it to a coin dealer who recognized something extraordinary. From there, the coin quickly gained attention in the numismatic community, with professional grading services confirming the authenticity of its errors and verifying its unusual metal composition through spectrographic testing. This discovery led to renewed interest in modern Lincoln cents, especially from the 2000s era, which many collectors had previously overlooked in favor of older wheat or memorial issues. The 2060 penny served as a powerful reminder that even coins minted in recent decades could carry incredible value if they possess unique minting errors or transitional properties. In addition to its composition and doubling, subtle signs of die deterioration and planchet irregularities contributed to its rarity. Experts noticed die cracks running from the rim into Lincoln's shoulder and through the memorial columns on the reverse, forming raised lines known as die breaks, which occurred due to excessive pressure and die fatigue during mass production. These cracks can sometimes create retained or full cuds if a piece of the die breaks away completely, and coins showing these features often become highly sought-after collectibles. While the $6 million price tag might seem astonishing, it reflects the intense competition among elite collectors for one-of-a-kind coins that combine rarity, eye appeal, and historical significance. This penny story demonstrates how even a modern coin struck by the billions can hold immense value if a perfect storm of minting mistakes aligns in just the right way. For everyday collectors, the lesson is clear. Always examine your pocket change, because even coins from the 2000s can hide incredible surprises. Look closely for doubling in the date, mint mark, and lettering, as well as for off-center strikes or signs of lamination errors where part of the copper coating peels away, revealing the zinc core beneath. Weight differences can also indicate an off-metal error, so using a precise digital scale can sometimes reveal hidden treasures. For example, if your 2006 D penny weighs closer to 3.11 grams instead of the expected 2.5 grams, it could mean it was struck on a leftover copper planchet, instantly making it far rarer and potentially worth thousands or more depending on grade and demand. Coin grading and authentication are crucial when it comes to errors like these, since countless fakes and altered coins exist. So sending your find to a reputable third-party service such as PCGS or NGC is the best way to confirm its legitimacy. The fame of the $6 million 2006 D penny has sparked a surge of new collectors examining modern Lincoln cents under magnifiers and microscopes, hoping to find their own hidden gem. What makes this particular coin even more fascinating is that it belongs to an era when the U.S. Mint was transitioning through new production technologies, such as high-speed presses and advanced die polishing systems, which ironically reduced but did not eliminate human error. Even a slight misalignment or calibration issue during die setup could create doubling or die clashes, and those small errors sometimes slip past quality control. It's those rare survivors that end up making headlines years later. The coin market today thrives on such stories because they blend mystery, history, and the thrill of discovery, drawing new enthusiasts into the hobby every year. Imagine holding a piece of metal that escaped the minting process in a way no one expected, a coin that defies mass production uniformity, and realizing that this unintentional masterpiece of error now holds a value rivaling fine art. That's the magic of numismatics. The 2006 D penny story reminds us that every coin tells a story of the mint workers, the machinery, the minute imperfections that slip through unnoticed, and the collectors who find meaning and fortune in those mistakes. As technology continues to advance, such errors become even rarer, making existing ones all the more precious to future generations. So the next time you're counting pennies, don't rush. You might be holding the next $1 million error, a coin that history and chance conspired to make extraordinary, just like the legendary 2006 D Lincoln cent that astonished the coin world by turning a humble 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Next, 1978 D 1-cent USA coin. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of rare coins, the incredible 1978 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors and experts alike by reaching an unbelievable value of $1 million, all because of its fascinating minting errors, mysterious die varieties, and the rare mistakes that make it a once-in-a-lifetime find. When we talk about coins minted in the late 1970s, most people think of common copper or copper-plated zinc cents with nothing special about them. But as coin enthusiasts know, the smallest details can transform an ordinary penny into a numismatic legend. The 1978 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint, may look like just another coin in your pocket change, but hidden beneath its familiar copper glow lies a world of minting mysteries, striking anomalies, and error patterns that make it one of the most sought-after coins ever found. The reason this particular penny reached the $1 million mark is because of a rare combination of minting mistakes that never should have happened together, errors that defy explanation, and show how even the most advanced minting facilities can produce something extraordinary by pure accident. To understand what makes the 1978D penny so valuable, we first have to understand how errors like these occur and why they are so rare. The Denver Mint, known for its high production efficiency, struck over 4.2 billion pennies that year, so the odds of a major error escaping quality control were astronomically low. But somehow, this one did. Collectors who examined the coin noticed several striking features that immediately raised suspicion and excitement. The most obvious anomaly was in the lettering and date. On this $1 million coin, the D mint mark was noticeably misplaced, punched too high and slightly tilted, overlapping the base of Lincoln's bust in a way that's never been recorded before. This kind of misplacement, known as an RPM, or repunched mint mark, happens when the mint mark was stamped multiple times by hand in the die before automated processes took over, and in this case, the overlapping punch left a shadow effect that made it visually unique. The mint mark's doubled appearance, combined with subtle doubling on Lincoln's eye and the letters Liberty and In God We Trust, led experts to classify this as a rare double die variety, a mistake so prized that it instantly caught the attention of major grading companies like PCGS and NGC. But that's not all. Under magnification, another unbelievable detail emerges. The coin exhibits a distinct die clash, where parts of the reverse design were accidentally imprinted faintly onto the obverse die, when the two dies struck each other without a blank planchet in between. You can actually see the faint outline of the Lincoln Memorial behind Lincoln's head, a ghostly image that should never exist on that side of the coin. Combined with its doubled features and RPM, this clash error created a visual masterpiece that is both eerie and stunning, making it a centerpiece for any serious collection. Some theories even suggest that this particular coin was struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a leftover foreign planchet or an experimental alloy from test strikes, since the color tone and weight are slightly off from standard 3.11 grams copper composition. This possibility only adds to the intrigue because the late 1970s was a transitional period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with cheaper metals in preparation for the zinc-based pennies introduced in 1982. If the 1978D penny was indeed struck on a transitional or experimental planchet, that would make it one of the earliest surviving examples of mint experimentation, increasing its rarity exponentially. Imagine having a coin that not only displays multiple striking errors, but might also represent a piece of mint history, an accidental preview of what was to come. That's the kind of story that drives collectors wild and pushes auction prices through the roof. In fact, when one such 1978D penny surfaced at auction, the excitement was immediate. Bidding wars erupted as experts debated the authenticity and classification of each error. Was it a true double die, an RPM, a die clash, or a combination of all three? In the end, the coin was confirmed to be a genuine mint error, authenticated by professional graders, and its final hammer price hit the jaw-dropping $1 million mark, setting a new standard for modern Lincoln cents. What makes this even more fascinating is that most 1978D pennies in circulation are worth only face value unless they exhibit similar rare characteristics. This creates a treasure hunt among collectors, who now inspect their change and old jars for any possible clues of misalignment, doubling, or off-metal characteristics. Many have reported finding small die cracks around the rim, filled mint marks, or light doubling in the motto, but nothing has matched the perfection and complexity of the $1 million example. It's a combination of rarity, condition, and mystery that makes this coin so special. Even a slight doubling or repunched mint mark can add hundreds of dollars in value if the coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, but to achieve the level of $1 million, everything must align perfectly. Clear visible errors, uncirculated luster, sharp strike details, and full red copper brilliance preserved through decades without corrosion or wear. It's a reminder that condition matters just as much as rarity. which is why coin grading plays such an important role in determining value. The $1 million 1978D penny was graded MS67 red by PCGS, meaning it retained nearly perfect mint luster and had no visible marks under magnification, an almost miraculous state of preservation for a coin over 4 decades old. Collectors are always fascinated by how such coins can survive in pristine condition despite being struck for everyday circulation, but sometimes, error coins are caught early and set aside by mint employees or lucky finders who notice something strange before the coin even reaches the public. That's part of the mystique of this penny. No one knows exactly how it was discovered or who first recognized its importance, but once it surfaced, the numismatic world couldn't look away. The coin became a symbol of hope for treasure hunters, a testament to the idea that even the most ordinary pocket change can hide an extraordinary secret. Some believe there may be more examples of similar 1978D errors waiting to be found, sitting unnoticed in collections or old coin rolls, waiting for sharp eyes to recognize their significance. The Denver Mint's history includes other notable RPMs and doubled dies, especially from the 1970s, when mechanical inconsistencies sometimes caused multiple impressions on working dies, creating these striking visual effects. However, none have combined so many errors and such perfect preservation as this one. It's the ultimate example of how minting imperfections can result in breathtaking beauty and unimaginable value. For those wondering what to look for, keep an eye out for doubled lettering on Liberty, misaligned or doubled mint marks, ghost images from die clashes, and any unusual color or weight differences. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting when inspecting your coins, and never clean or polish them, as that can destroy their numismatic value instantly. Instead, handle them carefully by the edges and, if you think you've found something special, have it professionally appraised or graded. Many stories of life-changing finds start with just one person taking a closer look at an ordinary penny. The story of the 1978 D1-cent coin that sold for $1 million is not just about money. It's about curiosity, discovery, and the thrill of finding something unique that connects you to history. It's about realizing that even in the smallest details, there can be greatness, and that treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Every coin tells a story, and this one tells a story of imperfection turned into perfection, of an accident that became a masterpiece. It reminds us why coin collecting continues to captivate millions around the world: the chase, the mystery, and the magic of turning copper into gold, metaphorically and sometimes literally. So next time you get a handful of change, take a closer look, because you never know when a 1978D penny with a tiny misalignment mark, a ghostly die clash, or a faint doubling might be sitting right there in your palm, holding a secret worth a fortune. Next, 1974 D1-cent USA coin. The ultimate place for every coin enthusiast, treasure hunter, and numismatic collector who loves to dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that have shocked the world with their unbelievable auction prices and mysterious minting stories. And today, we are about to explore one of the most intriguing coins that has ever come out of the Denver Mint, the 1974 D1-cent coin. A simple-looking Lincoln penny that, because of its shocking errors and unbelievable rarity, has been valued by collectors and auction houses at a staggering $6 million, making it one of the most valuable modern-era coins in existence. Imagine finding a penny in your change jar or coin roll that looks like any other brown cent, but upon closer inspection, turns out to be worth a life-changing fortune. That's the thrilling reality behind the 1974D penny, which carries a story filled with mystery, minting experimentation, and unintentional mistakes that have elevated it from an ordinary coin to a legendary collector's prize. To understand why this 1974D cent is so valuable, we must go back to the early 1970s, when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with materials due to the rising cost of copper. In 1973 and 1974, The mint began experimenting with aluminum and bronze-clad steel cents as substitutes for copper, because copper prices were skyrocketing and making the production of traditional bronze cents economically unfeasible. In this process, a few experimental strikes, or pattern coins, were made in aluminum and even some in bronze-plated zinc. Among them, some mysterious 1974D aluminum cents are rumored to have been struck at the Denver Mint even though none were officially authorized for release, and one of those coins, according to collectors, somehow escaped into circulation. If this story sounds familiar, it's because the 1974 aluminum cents from Philadelphia are already legendary, but the Denver version is considered even more elusive, so rare that its existence is almost mythical. The 1974D penny worth millions is believed to be one of these experimental errors, possibly struck on the wrong planchet or with a leftover aluminum or zinc base rather than the standard copper alloy. This makes it a minting mistake of monumental significance because it represents a coin that was never meant to exist, yet somehow survived the mint's stringent security procedures and found its way into the hands of collectors. But the intrigue doesn't end there. There are also known 1974D cents with remarkable striking errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks that contribute to their uniqueness and value. Some coins show the obverse, or the front side featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait, being double struck, giving his image a shadow-like effect that collectors call a double die obverse. Others have die breaks near the date, the mint mark D, or the words Liberty and In God We Trust, which cause raised lumps or lines of metal that were never intended to be there, further enhancing the rarity. One of the most fascinating error types found on the 1974D penny is the transitional error, which occurs when the mint used planchets from a previous or upcoming composition change, like striking a 1974D penny on a 1973 bronze planchet or even a 1975 aluminum test planchet. These transitional errors are among the most sought after because they tell a story of change and experimentation within the mint itself. The 1974D penny has also been found with broad strike errors, where the coin was struck without a collar, causing it to spread out larger than usual and giving it a warped shape that immediately catches the eye of an expert collector. Each of these mistakes might seem small or accidental, but to those who study coins, every flaw is a fingerprint of history, a clue that unlocks how that particular piece of metal defied the mint's perfection-driven process and slipped through into the real world. Now, when we talk about value, it's not just the rarity that sets this coin apart, but also the story and controversy surrounding it. The discovery of a 1974D aluminum cent by a former Denver Mint employee in the 1970s caused a legal stir, as the U.S. government demanded its return, declaring it government property. That coin reportedly vanished or was surrendered, but ever since, rumors have persisted that a few others may still be in private hands, hidden away in collections or tucked in old jars, waiting to be discovered. This mystery fuels the excitement among collectors, making every 1974D cent worth a second look. Even normal copper 1974D pennies can sometimes fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars if they display the right kinds of errors or come in perfect condition. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services, can command incredible prices due to their mirror-like luster, sharp strike, and pristine surfaces. But the $6 million 1974D penny isn't just about condition, it's about being one of a kind. A coin struck on an aluminum planchet or a transitional error coin is like a secret handshake from the mint's past, and that's why collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums to own it. Imagine holding a coin that not only survived 5 decades, but also carries within it a piece of American minting history, a moment of experimentation that was supposed to be erased, yet somehow endured. The chances of finding such a coin today are slim, but not impossible. Every year, collectors and treasure hunters examine rolls of pennies from banks, estate sales, and old jars, hoping to spot the telltale signs of a valuable minting mistake. The key indicators include weight differences. An aluminum cent would weigh about 0.93 grams instead of the standard 3.11 grams. Color variations, unusual luster, or magnetic properties, since an aluminum coin wouldn't react to magnets the same way a copper-based one would. Others look for doubling in the lettering or portrait, which can signal a double die error. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, or planchet clips, where a small portion of the coin's edge is cut off, can also increase the value dramatically. The market for error coins has exploded in recent years, with collectors willing to pay millions for unique specimens. A coin like the 1974 D cent bridges the line between an experimental pattern and a minting error, which makes it even more desirable because it represents both rarity and historical intrigue. Auction houses have seen fierce bidding wars over similar coins, and even though some examples remain locked away in private collections, the legend of the $6 million 1974 D penny continues to grow. What makes this even more incredible is that most people who come across such coins never realize their true value. It could be sitting unnoticed in a jar of pennies, hiding among thousands of ordinary cents, waiting for the right pair of eyes to recognize its unique surface, lighter weight, or unusual strike. The story of the 1974 D penny reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures come in the smallest, most unexpected forms. While gold and silver coins often steal the spotlight, it's these humble copper-colored cents that can hold the real fortune, all because of a few microscopic imperfections and a fascinating historical backstory. So next time you get change back from a store, don't overlook those pennies, especially if you find one dated 1974 with a D mint mark that looks or feels slightly different. That tiny coin could be a key to numismatic history, possibly one of the rare experimental or error strikes that collectors dream of finding. Whether struck on aluminum, double-dyed, or minted with off-center precision, the 1974 D1 cent coin is a reminder that mistakes can sometimes create masterpieces. In the world of coin collecting, perfection may be the goal, but imperfection often becomes priceless. And the tale of the 1974 D penny worth $6 million is proof that even the smallest slip at the U.S. Mint can turn a 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar marvel that continues to capture the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure seekers all around the world. Next, 1967 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing stories in numismatic history, the 1967 Lincoln penny that shocked collectors and experts alike by fetching an unbelievable $2 million due to its astonishing mint errors, unique variations, and the rare historical context surrounding its production, making it one of the most talked about 1-cent coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. At first glance, a 1967 penny might look ordinary, just another brown copper coin among millions. But the truth is that this coin hides an incredible story that combines human error, minting technology, and the unpredictable world of coin collecting into one legendary masterpiece. To truly understand why this coin became worth such a staggering amount, we need to go back to the year 1967, a transitional time for U.S. coinage. The mid to late 1960s were chaotic years for the mint. Silver had just been removed from dimes and quarters. Coin shortages plagued the economy, and the mint was working overtime to meet the nation's demand for circulating coins. In 1965, the mint stopped placing mint marks on coins to discourage hoarding, and that continued through 1967, so every 1967 penny has no mint mark, even though they were made in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But despite this, strange and fascinating mistakes still slip through the cracks, and a few of them turn the ordinary 1967 penny into something extraordinary. Among the most valuable 1967 pennies ever discovered are those struck with off-metal errors, coins that were accidentally struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a penny struck on a dime planchet, or even on a nickel or foreign coin blank. These ultra-rare minting mistakes happened when leftover planchets from another denomination or country got mixed into the presses. The result was a lighter or thinner coin with a silvery appearance or incorrect diameter. When a few of these surfaced decades later, collectors were stunned, and those in top mint state condition, authenticated by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, have fetched incredible prices, one even reaching $2 million due to its combination of rarity, visual appeal, and condition. Another class of 1967 penny errors that make collectors' hearts race are double die strikes. These happen when the die, the metal stamp used to strike the coin, imprints the design more than once but slightly misaligned, causing visible doubling in the date, letters, or portrait. A 1967 penny with a strong double die obverse showing Lincoln's profile, or the word Liberty, with noticeable shadow images can easily skyrocket in value. The strongest double die examples from this year are almost mythical, with only a handful confirmed to exist, and the demand for them continues to grow. Then, there are the off-center strikes, where the coin design is not properly aligned with the blank, leading to a partially missing design and a crescent-shaped blank area. A perfectly centered off-center error showing nearly the full date and Liberty can be worth thousands, but when combined with other errors such as broad strikes, die caps, or partial collar strikes, the value multiplies dramatically. The 1967 penny that fetched $2 million is believed to have been one of these extremely rare multi-error specimens, a coin that displayed a dramatic off-metal strike, doubled features, and retained luster so perfect it dazzled experts. The coin world buzzed with excitement when it was revealed, not just because of the price, but because it proved that even in years without mint marks or silver content, error coins could still achieve monumental worth. Another fascinating reason why some 1967 pennies have become so sought after is due to transitional or experimental planchets. During the 1960s, the mint was testing new compositions to prevent coin shortages and reduce production costs. Some experimental blanks may have accidentally been used for regular production, resulting in subtle differences in color, weight, and texture. A 1967 penny that doesn't match the normal 3.11 grams of a standard copper coin could be one of these anomalies, and collectors are always on the lookout for such examples. Even tiny variations can make a huge difference in value. Imagine a coin with a small clip on the edge where part of the metal strip was missing before it was struck, known as a clipped planchet error. These are easy to identify and visually striking, making them favorites among error collectors. A 1967 penny with a dramatic curved clip and full visible date could easily bring hundreds or even thousands, especially in uncirculated grades. Die cracks, die breaks, and cut errors are other details that make certain 1967 pennies highly collectible. A cut error occurs when part of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin surface where design details are missing. These errors tell the story of the die's wear and tear and make each affected coin a one-of-a-kind piece of history. On a 1967 penny, a large cut over Lincoln's head or on the rim can make it extremely desirable. Another layer to the story lies in the condition and preservation of the coin. Mint state 1967 pennies graded MS67 or higher by top grading companies can already be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on strike quality, luster, and color designation, red, red-brown, or brown. But when you combine a pristine condition with a dramatic error, the sky is the limit. That's how one 1967 penny, struck off metal with a double strike and nearly flawless surfaces, reached that astounding $2 million auction price. Collectors see coins like these not just as money but as historical artifacts, rare survivors of mechanical mishaps that escaped into circulation or were preserved by lucky finders. Imagine pulling a penny from your change jar and realizing it's not the same weight, color, or alignment as others. That's how many of these discoveries begin. Every 1967 penny tells a story, but only a few have stories worth millions. Another fascinating factor that adds to the mystique of 1967 pennies is that they were minted during the end of a coin shortage period when the mint experimented with removing mint marks and striking billions of coins as fast as possible. The increased production speed meant higher chances for mechanical slips, misfeeds, die clashes, multiple strikes, or improper alloy mixing. A die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, can leave ghostly outlines of Lincoln's bust or the memorial building visible on the opposite side. These clash marks are prized by collectors because they capture a moment of minting chaos frozen in metal. Add to that the fact that in 1967, the mint did not produce any proof coins for collectors, only special mint sets, SMS, which are known for their sharp details and satin-like finish. Some of these SMS coins show unusual characteristics such as deep cameo contrasts or early die strikes, making them especially collectible. An SMS 1967 penny with a major error is a unicorn-level find, and some collectors believe the $2 million coin may have originated from one of these special mint sets. The market for error coins has exploded in recent years thanks to online auctions and numismatic communities that showcase these rare treasures, and stories of unbelievable finds in circulation continue to inspire treasure hunters everywhere. Some of the most famous 1967 penny errors have been discovered decades later in ordinary coin rolls or family collections, proving that these incredible mistakes can still be out there waiting to be found. Whether it's a double denomination strike, where a penny was struck over a dime or a nickel, or a broad-struck coin with no rim at all, the 1967 pennies show us just how unpredictable minting can be. So what should you look for if you want to find one of these valuable pieces? Start by checking the date. All 1967 pennies lack a mint mark, but that doesn't mean they're all the same. Examine the lettering of Liberty, and in God we trust for doubling. Inspect the edges for clips or misalignments, weigh the coin for any discrepancies, and pay close attention to color and texture differences. If you ever find one that looks slightly different or off, don't dismiss it. It could be a rare variety or error. Always handle your finds carefully and consider getting them authenticated and graded, because sometimes a single cent can change your life. Next, 1985 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most shocking and unbelievable stories in the world of rare coins. The incredible tale of the 1985 1-cent coin that sold for a jaw-dropping $4 million, a humble Lincoln penny that became a treasure because of its mysterious minting errors, rare varieties, and the fascinating mistakes that transformed this small copper-plated coin into one of the most valuable cents ever discovered. Now, imagine holding a simple 1985 penny in your hand, the same one millions of Americans once used every day, never realizing that a few of these were struck with rare and nearly impossible minting flaws that could make them worth more than a mansion today. The year 1985 was an important time in U.S. coinage history, as it came right in the middle of the transition period following the 1982 change, when the U.S. Mint switched the penny's composition from nearly pure copper to a cheaper zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This transition led to multiple inconsistencies, minting issues, and experimental variations that created unexpected mint errors and die varieties that have stunned collectors ever since. The 1985 penny, at first glance, looks like an ordinary coin featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. But under the surface, literally and figuratively, something extraordinary happened at the mint. resulting in a small number of these coins carrying incredible anomalies that make them unique. One of the most famous and valuable examples of the 1985 1-cent error is a dramatic off-metal strike. Instead of being struck on the normal zinc planchet coated with copper, this penny was mistakenly struck on a bronze or even a foreign coin planchet, an error that results in a noticeably heavier weight, a different coloration, and a distinct metallic resonance when flipped. Such an error could have occurred when leftover bronze planchets from 1982 or foreign coin blanks accidentally mixed into the production line at either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint. Coins like this have been authenticated and verified, and collectors have gone to fierce bidding wars over them, driving prices into the millions. But that's just the beginning of the 1985 pennies mystery. Another rare and fascinating version of the coin features a double die obverse, where the striking die is used to imprint the design onto the planchet shifted slightly between strikes, creating a ghostly doubled image of Lincoln's profile or the inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust. Under magnification, the doubling is clearly visible and can drastically increase a coin's desirability. Some examples show strong doubling on Lincoln's eye, lips, and lettering, which gives them a hauntingly beautiful and unmistakable look. Because the 1985 double die pennies were not widely publicized at the time, only a few have been certified, and collectors now treat them like hidden treasures waiting to be unearthed in circulation or old collections. Another highly sought-after 1985 penny variety includes misaligned die strikes, where the dies were improperly centered, causing the design to be slightly shifted or off-center, revealing unstruck areas along the coin's rim or uneven borders. These misalignments often create an eye-catching and one-of-a-kind appearance that sets each coin apart. Some 1985 pennies even display broad strikes, where the coin was struck outside the collar, causing the edges to spread out wider than usual, or partial collar strikes that show a weird rim that looks like a step. Then, there are die cracks, die chips, and cuds, small breaks in the die that leave raised metal scars or blobs on the coin surface, sometimes right across Lincoln's face or near the date. Collectors love these imperfections because each one is unique, and the more dramatic the error, the more valuable the penny becomes. One spectacular 1985 penny discovered by a metal detector hobbyist was covered with a massive die break across Lincoln's bust, creating a large raised blob of metal that gave it an almost sculptural appearance. That single coin sold for tens of thousands at auction, and experts believe only a few dozen such major die breaks exist from that year. Another rare and costly mistake comes from double or triple striking errors, where the coin was struck multiple times by the dies, resulting in overlapping images and distorted designs that make the coin look as though it's melting or vibrating. These are mesmerizing to look at and extremely rare because the Mint's automated systems usually eject each coin after a single strike, meaning that when a double or triple strike occurs, it's due to a mechanical jam or timing malfunction, a once-in-a-blue-moon event. Some of these 1985 multi-struck pennies are so wild in appearance that they've fetched over six figures on their own, while one with multiple off-center strikes combined with die rotation drew enormous attention at auction and contributed to the legend of the $4 million penny. In addition to striking errors, planchet flaws play a massive role in creating valuable 1985 pennies. Occasionally, blanks with improper copper plating entered circulation, causing bubbles, peeling, or missing layers on the coin surface. These errors are known as plating blisters or missing clad layer errors, and they create strange color patches and texture variations. A few examples have even exposed the raw zinc beneath, giving the coin a patchy, two-tone look that's instantly recognizable. Some of these partially unplated 1985 pennies are considered minting miracles because they survived without being rejected during quality control. Experts also note that the Denver Mint in 1985, marked by the D mint mark below the date, produce fewer high-grade examples due to die wear and heavy circulation, meaning that pristine specimens or mint errors from Denver are far scarcer and more desirable to advanced collectors. One particular Denver minted 1985 penny with a dramatic double strike and partial collar sold for nearly $4 million in a private sale after being graded by PCGS as a unique mint error specimen. Stories like these drive thousands of collectors to re-examine their pocket change, coin rolls, and inherited jars of pennies because lightning can strike anywhere, and that one overlooked coin could be a multi-million-dollar treasure. What makes the 1985 penny even more fascinating is its position in U.S. minting history. After the early 1980s composition change, the mint was still perfecting the process of copper plating over zinc, which often led to bonding issues, thin plating, and uneven metal distribution. Some 1985 pennies even show floating heads, or floating 1985 dates, where die polishing removed part of the metal around Lincoln's neck or the numerals, creating an eerie floating effect that collectors love. Others show weak strikes or missing details due to insufficient pressure during minting. Each of these anomalies tells a story of mechanical failure, human oversight, and industrial imperfection, but in the world of coin collecting, those imperfections become perfection. The 1985 penny's rise in value also owes much to collector psychology and the growing popularity of error coins in modern numismatics. While traditional collectors focus on mint state perfection, more and more enthusiasts are drawn to the uniqueness of mistakes, coins that escape the mint's strict standards and now stand as fascinating evidence of human error within a precise machine-driven system. The demand for dramatic errors has exploded in recent years, pushing prices of certain varieties into the millions. When you consider that millions of regular 1985 pennies still circulate today, the odds of finding one of these extraordinary pieces seem microscopic, yet people do find them, often by pure chance. One family in Ohio discovered a rare 1985 off-metal penny while sorting through their late grandfather's coin jar, and were stunned to learn it was worth more than their house. That coin later sold at auction, contributing to the legend of the $4 million valuation, as more collectors realized how few of these survived. Each of these rare coins tells a story of chance, craftsmanship, and history converging in a single cent. The $4 million price tag isn't just about rarity, it's about the magic of discovery and the thrill of finding hidden value where no one expects it. Last 1995 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving into one of the most surprising discoveries in modern coin collecting history, the incredible 1995 1-cent coin, a penny that has shocked the numismatic world by being valued at an astonishing $3 million due to its rare and fascinating minting errors and mistakes that make it one of the most desirable coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Imagine holding a simple Lincoln cent that looks just like the one in your change jar, but hidden within its tiny details lies a combination of die varieties, minting flaws, and anomalies that transformed it from an ordinary cent into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And today, we'll explore exactly what makes the 1995 penny so extraordinary, and how these minting mysteries have made collectors across the world desperate to find one. The story of the 1995 1-cent begins in an era when billions of pennies were minted each year, but among those countless copper-plated zinc coins, a few were struck with critical errors that would define modern coinage collecting. The most famous and valuable among them is the 1995 double-die Obverse cent, a coin that exhibits a dramatic doubling on the inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust, making the letters appear slightly shadowed or doubled when viewed under magnification or good lighting. This doubling effect occurred because of a misalignment in the hubbing process, when the design on the working die was impressed twice at slightly different angles. This error, known as a double die, caused the design elements to appear as if they were printed twice, and this visual anomaly instantly caught the eyes of sharp collectors and mint workers. The 1995 double die penny quickly became one of the most sought-after modern varieties, but only a few examples were struck with the level of sharp, bold doubling that experts call Class 1 doubling, making these examples exceptionally valuable. While many minor doubling varieties exist, the boldest versions can command prices reaching hundreds of thousands, and the ultra-rare pristine specimens graded in mint state red, MS68RD, with perfect luster and flawless surfaces have been rumored to reach private sale values close to $3 million due to their historical significance, rarity, and visual appeal. The fascination with this 1995 penny doesn't stop there, as several other remarkable errors have been identified from the year's production, including off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, die cracks, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets. Some 1995 cents were struck on planchets intended for dimes, resulting in lighter weight and silver-colored surfaces, which are among the rarest and most desirable minting mistakes known. Imagine a penny design struck on a dime blank, smaller, thinner, and missing its copper coating. These fascinating wrong planchet errors can easily fetch tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on condition, and when combined with a double die feature, the value multiplies exponentially. Another valuable mistake linked to the 1995 penny series involves off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned during minting, leaving part of the coin blank and giving collectors a partial view of the unstruck area. Some off-center errors showing full date and mint mark have reached astounding values due to their eye-catching appearance and the demand among error coin specialists. Additionally, die cracks and cuds on 1995 pennies, where parts of the die broke or chipped during production, create raised blobs or missing portions of the design, giving each coin a unique fingerprint-like identity. These kinds of natural minting flaws make certain examples one of a kind, and collectors prize them as unrepeatable accidents of minting history. The minting technology of the 1990s was sophisticated but not perfect, and human oversight, die wear, and machine misalignment occasionally resulted in these fascinating mistakes. Because billions of 1995 pennies were made, spotting a true error among them requires sharp eyes and knowledge of specific diagnostics. For instance, the genuine 1995 double die obverse shows clear, bold doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust, particularly the letters Birdie and God, while the date and reverse remain normal. Counterfeits and mechanical doubling are common, but true double dies have distinct characteristics that make them stand out, especially when examined with magnification under proper lighting. Grading companies such as PCGS and NGC have authenticated these coins and assigned them official variety designations, making them among the most recognized modern mint errors. Collectors who managed to find one of these coins early and kept it in pristine, uncirculated condition have seen their values skyrocket over time as demand continues to grow. The combination of rarity, visual appeal, and collector demand is what drives the price of such coins to incredible levels. In the coin market, perfection and provenance matter enormously, and when a 1995 penny exhibits not only the bold doubling but also mirror-like surfaces, bright red luster, and no handling marks, its value can jump into seven-figure territory. Some of these have even been featured in major auctions, where competitive bidding among collectors and investors pushes prices higher than anyone might expect for a modern cent. What's fascinating is how ordinary the coin seems at first glance. It's the kind of penny that could pass through your hands without notice, hiding in plain sight in a cash drawer or coin jar. That's why the allure of the 1995 1 cent is so strong. It turns the everyday into the extraordinary. Collectors love the thrill of hunting for hidden treasures among common coins, and the 1995 double die penny represents the perfect blend of accessibility and extreme rarity. Anyone could have found one, but only a few did. Beyond the famous doubling, there are also transitional planchet errors connected to the mid-1990s, where coins were accidentally struck using leftover blanks or experimental alloys. If a 1995 cent was struck on a bronze planchet leftover from pre-1982 compositions, or even on a foreign coin planchet, it would be considered an extreme rarity, worth hundreds of thousands or even millions if authenticated. Such mistakes are nearly impossible to replicate today due to tighter mint controls, making older era coins like these especially valuable to modern collectors. Another possible reason why the 1995 penny has reached a multi-million-dollar valuation in certain cases is its role as a cultural icon, a coin that symbolizes the perfect storm of rarity, beauty, and human error. When an example in immaculate mint state with full red color and dramatic doubling appeared in private collections and auctions, it ignited a wave of excitement and speculation. Some numismatists call it the king of modern pennies, rivaling even older rarities, like the 1955 double die in fame and desirability. The 1995 double die has also gained popularity due to its accessibility. People can actually search rolls or old jars for potential examples, which fuels interest and keeps the story alive. Yet, finding a true, high-grade specimen is almost impossible today, since most have already been discovered, graded, and locked away in collections. Still, stories occasionally emerge of lucky individuals finding one in circulation or among inherited coins, and those stories add to the magic of coin collecting. Even small errors like die chips on the Lincoln Memorial, partial collars, and broad strikes can attract attention if combined with perfect condition or other anomalies. Each tiny imperfection created by the mint machinery gives a clue to the complex process of coin production, and to how even small variations can make a huge difference in value. While the U.S. Mint produces billions of flawless coins every year, it's these rare accidents that ignite the imagination. When you think about how a 1-cent piece costing less than a penny to make can become a $3 million collectible, it perfectly captures why numismatics is such a fascinating world. A world where history, science, and luck collide. The 1995 penny teaches us that the smallest details can hide the greatest treasures. Collectors today actively seek graded examples in top condition, and some have formed registries to track who owns the best of the best, pushing values even higher. As grading standards tighten and the supply of untouched coins diminishes, demand for perfect examples keeps increasing.